Welcome to What Nigerians Are Saying. Today, I want to tell you about Prison Break Osun Edition. Michael Scofield and his gang have left the confines of the prison. But first, let's begin with a rather dramatic story from across the Atlantic. Last Friday in New Orleans, 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Justice Center in a Hollywood-style jailbreak. They removed the toilets, cut through steel bars, scaled through the walls, and left behind a note for authorities saying, "Too easy, LOL." Authorities believe it was an inside job. A maintenance worker is already in custody with several jail staff suspended, and 5 of the escapees have been recaptured. 5, including murder suspects, are still out. And if you look at the crimes that they've committed, they range from, pushing drugs to murder. A number of them have been even recaptured over and over again. In a bizarre twist, a cryptocurrency betting site in New Orleans is now letting people bet on who they think will be caught next or who will be the last man standing. And if you look at the picture, this man here, he's getting a lot of votes. Derrick Groves, people are betting on him. But let's now bring this back to Osun State, Nigeria. In the early hours of Tuesday, the 20th of May, a very different kind of jailbreak unfolded at the Ilesha Medium Security Custodial Center. After hours of torrential rain, the perimeter wall collapsed, an act of nature that exposed a crack in our prison system. 7 inmates facing serious charges like murder and armed robbery escaped. And as of this morning, all 7 are still at large. Now, this isn't the first time this is happening. On September the 9th, 2024, flood triggered the collapse of the perimeter wall at the Medium Security Custodial Center in Maiduguri, Borno State. A total of 281 inmates took advantage of the breach to flee. On April 24, 2024, heavy rains again caused the walls of the Suleja Medium Security Prison in Niger State to collapse, leading to the escape of 119 inmates. So yes, we're back again with another escape powered by rainfall. The Nigerian Correctional Service has launched a manhunt working with police and community leaders, and they've offered 5 million naira per fugitive if you have information leading to the arrest. So we have names, photos. There have been charges. John Michael, age 34 years, address Emene, Enugu State. Toby Akin, 19 years, address beside DC School, OK Ejigbo, Osun State. Ezenweze, 40 years, his address is in the Ikorodu, Lagos State. Olalekan Ajofo Imbo, 45 years, in Ekiti State. Ninolowo Yusuf, he is 28 years, Idowu Close, Ojo, Lagos State. And we have Matthew Ogunjimi, 20 years, in Owode Street, Ikirun, Osun State. And Kabiru Oyedun Agege, 39 years, I beg your pardon, and he's in Agunla Omu, Lagos State. So these are the inmates. If you have information on them, the authorities are offering you 5 million naira. And at the end of this segment, I'm going to share the phone numbers you can call if you have information. But beyond the reward, there's also rising suspicion. How did this really happen? Was it just rain, or was there inside help? And can the correctional service really recapture these inmates? Or, like they say, Otilo? And on a much lighter note, Nigerians again are already betting and asking, who among these 7 will be the last man standing? But let's go to X and take the tweets of Nigerians reacting to this. Fisayo Soyombo is the first person. He says, the escape of 7 inmates, including 6 standing trial for murder, armed robbery, and illegal possession of firearms from the medium security prison in Ilesha, Osun State, is concerning. He goes further to say, from my experience living as a prison inmate during my undercover investigation, it is nigh on impossible for inmates to escape from prison without internal collusion, especially when there is no bloodshed. As how? Suspected murderers and armed robbers broke free from jail without any bloodshed, injuries, or death. I hope the Nigerian Prison Service understands that its hunt for inmates must begin from within Ilesha prison, and maybe they can tell us who released the escapees. Michael Ilechuku is also reacting to this, and in Michael Ilechuku's tweet, he says, please don't use the word escape. That's wrong. Just say they left. Onekachi Mark has reacted to this as well, says, their families should bring them back and collect 5 million and use it to feed them in the prison. If you go to the New Orleans story, in fact, the way they had found a number of them is so ridiculous. One of them was found, that one went back and started doing Instagram Live. Another one went back to his family members. In fact, I'll come back to New Orleans, but let's continue with Nigeria. Peter Daniel says, when the New Orleans prison break happened, immediately the inner accomplice was apprehended. When yet to hear traitors have been held, nor any clear sign they've been caught. With our poor terrain and its insecurity, it will likely take so long to catch them. That's if they're serious about it. On official 08, the next tweet says, we all know these criminals were released on purpose. They're using the prison break to deceive who they can. We have 3 more tweets to take. Park GM says, my country now cruise, honestly. Nature helped them escape. The fence collapsed. My money is on police not catching them. Ifeanyi Everett says, their integration into society will be so seamless. This is the last time we'll ever hear about this story. And finally, this tweet is betting. He says, my money is on Kabiru. Baba does a smile. Everywhere good. Can we please put their pictures again so we can look at Kabiru's face? And there we have Kabiru. Baba does a smile. Soft life. Everywhere good. Whew. As ridiculous as this sounds, in New Orleans, they've offered them several sums to be able to get information to bring them. And I think it's come up to like $20,000. There are rewards out there. Here we have 5 million naira per fugitive.
Will they pay this money? And for those that are looking for a quick way to make money, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 million
35 million naira, cool cash. But this again reveals a rot in our system. Maybe I'd ask you, do you genuinely believe it's been an act of God, or does it reflect our carelessness? My
first question is Nigerian custodial services. Which contractors build your fences? Do they use clay or mud? Because they're always collapsing after one sort of
torrential rainfall
or the other, and they should look into.
It could also be due to maintenance as well. I mean, when last did they, maintain the walls, maintain the buildings itself? Yeah, we also have struggles even with the cell walls and even the cell itself. So, I mean, I wouldn't give doubt to the fact that it's an act of nature, hopefully. But with Benga saying 35 million here in cash, I don't know how true it is. I also saw that the prisoner up there, the wanted prisoner up there, was chatting with the other prisoner on the left. I saw it online this morning. Yeah, they were chatting online.
I didn't see that
one of them, I don't know how true it is. I don't know how true. Maybe we'll have to find. And he said, oh, we heard they wanted to give 5 million to catch him, that they should give the 5 million to his mom and he would turn himself in. And then the other one responded to him and said, let's meet in Togo or something. And he said, is it because we're in prison, you think we're mates? So I don't know how true
that sounds advanced. I don't know
how true it is, but I don't want to
I don't know how they're going to catch him, because they can't even see the color of his eyes. His picture is blurry. I mean, how are we supposed to get the 5 million for Ezenweze?
I think, as funny as it sounds, just like they're betting in the New Orleans story on social media, they're actually betting. People are betting in the cryptocurrency company, saying who will be the last man standing with the New Orleans story. And they started jokingly calling this Osun Jailbreak New Orleans
and Nigerians are jumping on the trend
of course, jumping on the trend and making fun of it. But I think, again, it reveals 2 major things. One, the flaw in our systems and structures. When we're talking about building collapse, how is it that every other year we're hearing about a rainfall affecting the fence?
Yeah.
What was used to build the fence? And if you've seen this happen more than once, shouldn't that then create an opportunity for us to come together and ensure that we're reworking the system?
Key question: where were the security guards?
Exactly. Where are the guards?
Do we still have watchtowers in
I'm
the
sure
prisons?
They do. But are they
where
effective?
You could actually see every single person, like the eagle eye. You see everything that's going on. And where are the CCTV cameras that they could release now? We're expecting that there should be a release.
Even if they release CCTV cameras and they show you how these people escaped, where will you see the rest?
Closure.
We don't have the rest of the. We don't have proper CCTV camera coverage in our country to say, okay, we saw them last on the street. I don't really know if they're going to come back. Some people will say already this is a case of saying Sokweoti law. Well, citizens are advised to contact the nearest security agency or reach out to the following hotlines: 070-870-86005, 090-6000-4598, or 080-750-5006. But that's all we have for you today on Prison Break Osun edition.
Elisha Custodial Center, please.
Exactly.
It's custodial, it's not prison.
Center. Prison Break Elisha Custodial Center. Yeah. Until we have the next one powered by rainfall, because this year there's going to be a lot of rainfall.
But I'm sure the police will do their work. I trust them. They always get it done.
Okay.
They always find a way.
Time will tell.